What it do? What it do? We back again. The Grounded Show. Your boy Les, your boy Joe Fernizzi,
Here,
and the Quintonymous himself, Quincy Jamal.
your boy.
What it do, y'all boys?
Hey man,
Back,
another week, man.
episode 106.
Come on now.
Facts. Yo, I don't know if y'all seen the Spreaker at all lately, but we've been hitting some highs as far as people downloading and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
We
dope.
had
No, I haven't been on there. I haven't
we
been on
had our
Spreaker in a
most
while.
active day on
Same.
September 30th, like
Nice.
of all time, like the most people that listen.
That's fire.
That's what's up.
Just for the podcast itself, the video's been doing great. I mean that hasn't stopped.
Mhm.
The video I posted of you the other day, Quincy, got us a few followers too. I think it was the Vince McMahon one where you talk about how he creates the storylines and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, man, today, or not today, it was a few days ago. I believe it was Friday. DaBaby dropped a new project. Let me pull up the actual name so I can give it its proper due and I don't rush through it. All right,
That's not a
so
baby. That's my baby.
here. All right, so here, let me pull this up here. Here we go. All right, so on Friday, DaBaby dropped his new project called "How TF Is This a Mixtape?" So
Oh, okay,
how
I
the
seen that. Yeah.
frick is this a mixtape? I checked it out. I'm a big DaBaby fan. My boy Danny, shout out to Danny. He put me on to him when he had like less than 20,000 followers, and he was like, "Bro, this dude is about to be the next guy." And literally, like a couple months after that, DaBaby was going crazy.
Mhm.
So, I always liked his sound, his flow. I thought I really liked the way that he captured the commercial sound, but he still was spitting. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about DaBaby that I love. I always like hearing somebody that can put the songs together well, but they're still rapping their ass off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't like when you sacrifice one for the other. Like that's why I haven't been such a big fan of the newer Kanye stuff because I feel like he's been just going off of feel and production more than anything
Yeah.
lately, and the lyrics haven't been a focal point for him, except for like when he's specifically going through something that he's inspired. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
But
stopped storytelling. He just going with good with the song now.
exactly. So that's kind of like made me waver on his newer stuff. It's really not anything that's going on with him personally or whatever. It's just the newer stuff. Although it's been produced extremely well, which his music always is produced extremely well, but it just hasn't been hitting like his usual stuff hits. But on this the baby project, I thought it was pretty dope. I would say first couple listens, the new the baby project, I would give it maybe like 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like it's
I haven't been too much now.
a little better than blah.
Mhm.
Some definitely some dope joints that you can add to your playlist. I heard a couple joints that definitely sound like they'll be good gym playlist songs. You know what I mean? It was a dope vibe, but something that my ear caught that maybe a lot of people might not catch if you don't really do music like that, but you could tell the difference in quality on this project versus his previous projects. And it's not something horribly wrong or terrible or anything like that. It still sounds great, still great production. He's still doing his thing, but you can definitely tell in the mixes that they weren't mixed by the same people. And if they were, it has a completely different sound than his previous music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it kind of led me to think, just because my assumption is he went through all that stuff, all the controversy that happened at his concert, things that he said, incidents that he got into that kind of slowed him down as far as how big of an act he was. You know what I mean? Like he's not the baby that he was, 4 or 5 years ago, where he was the number one guy breaking records, crazy records. Everybody wanted him on a record. Like he was the guy.
Mhm.
He ain't the guy no more. He lost all that. So the music has a different feel to it. And you can tell that the team is probably not as huge and
Invested.
the budget isn't as huge as it was before, and the sound is a lot different in the project. Like I said, it's not a bad thing. I'm not complaining about it, but I did notice it, right? Literally as soon as his voice dropped on the first song, I'm like, oh, this is not the same guy that was mixing the other stuff. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like I said, if it is, they're going for a different sound.
Mhm.
But it kind of just led me to think about how many artists and how many groups and just people that put out music. A lot of people hear a project or a couple songs from somebody and they say, dang man, why they can't just make more music like this, or why they can't just stick to this sound or whatever. A lot of times that's not the artist's decision. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the artist gets put with a producer, gets put with an engineer, just get put with a songwriter, and they're just instructed, hey, you're working with this person, and this is wherever they're gonna lead your sound, that's where it's gonna go.
Mm.
So you hear that in a lot of artists, especially big artists, their first projects. There's a lot of songwriters in the room. There's a lot of songs that they're bringing to them ready, because a lot of times with an artist, they'll get a song where it's like a beat and a hook or something. You know what I mean? Or a beat and the first couple bars, or a melody of like the verse. You know what I'm saying? And the artist just kind of goes off that. So when you're a smaller artist, you're not getting, 20 people sending you a sample of something that you might want to drop, because you're not going to do nothing for them. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you're a smaller artist, getting a placement with you doesn't do nothing for anybody. So they're just going to try to bring it to whoever's hot. So you're not choosing through as many songs. One, you're not getting the same quality of songs too, because you're not, you don't have an unlimited budget for the producer and the songwriter and whoever's going to be the feature. And there's a lot of different reasons, but the idea is this: whenever you hear an artist and you hear their music and you feel like that's their vibe, and then you see that they have a change in their sound or something, a lot of times that's not the artist's decision. They're
Mhm.
just not working with the person that was giving them that formula anymore. So that's why, if you notice, a lot of people with Prince, especially artists, will give him the nod over Michael Jackson. Like artists will just kind of like, they're almost very quick to say Prince over Michael. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Which is kind of like weird when it kind of brings you back, like, dang, you're so quick to say Prince is better than Michael Jackson, when you traditionally don't think of Prince as a hit maker on the level that Michael Jackson is.
Right.
But you talking about a guy that did his music A through Z, because he literally could play every instrument. He's writing the music as far as the melodies, as far as the instrumentation. He's writing the songs themselves. He's arranging everything because he can play every instrument. So he's basically laying out the sound and the groove and saying, all right, let's put it together like this.
Mhm.
There's a lot more value in that than just, somebody like a Michael Jackson that has a great producer with him, and the producer might be coming to him with songs that already have like a beat and a melody kind of going, or they'll take something that he made and just turn it into, something 10 times better than what the reference was. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And something that Prince actually told Nas before was he wouldn't collaborate with Nas because Nas didn't own his masters, and Prince owned his masters, because he knew that he's doing A to Z on the music. So he's not going to let somebody else make money off of what he's literally doing everything for. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And like one of the artists that kind of stands out in my mind is like, just because, it's like a recent thing that I've been listening to also, is Chingy, that first
Mhm.
album. I think the first album went like triple platinum, like at the time, which it was like a short amount of time, and he went like double or triple platinum. It was that time where like a lot of artists were going platinum, you know what I mean? But it doesn't take away that he had a super dope project,
Mhm.
and he had a lot of bangers on it. And then after that, he was never able to make any kind of music on any level of that first album.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, because after the first album, he fizzled out, and he don't got those people behind him giving him those songs anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think that you can think about that from not just the music standpoint, but from any standpoint. When you mentioned uh the baby and all of his antics that was happening that kind of caused his like downfall. The first thing I started thinking about to myself was, aside from this new Bad Boys movie, what has Will Smith done since the Chris Rock slap? You know what I mean? And I just kind of I went to kind of look it up, and to be honest with you, there hasn't been much. I mean, he produced Bel Air, you know, but as far as movie roles, there hasn't really been anything except Bad Boys Ride or Die. And if you think about it, Bad Boys just dropped a couple of months ago. The slap happened early 2022. How do you how do we not know that that was his plan to, hey, I'm gonna give him this. This will be my comeback. You know what I mean? How do we
Yeah.
know? You know?
And it's funny you mentioned that because recently I kind of noticed, because I listen to a lot of comedy related stuff. I noticed that all these comedians, bro, they are still united in saying F Will Smith, bro. Like
Hmm.
anytime he's brought up or anytime somebody talks about that, it's like they're all dedicated
Yeah.
to not mess with Will Smith right now. Like all the comedians kind of banded together with that. And I thought that was interesting because based off what you said too, Quincy, I wonder how many people are actually doing that also, where
Hmm.
they're kind of just saying, subconsciously or maybe even out loud, like, nah, I'm not gonna consume any Will Smith content for a little while because I don't like how that went down.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and Emancipation was a movie that was literally done being produced when that happened. And aside from that, he doesn't have anything but Bad Boys Ride or Die. And that was over 2 years ago. And come on, like, I mean, there was a time when Will Smith was dropping 3 movies a year, you know?
Yeah. His career kind of like ebbs and flows too, because he'll have like a successful period. Then, like you said, he'll try to drop a few movies in a year and then they flop and he's kind of cold again. He's always been up and down as far as his box office success is concerned. You know what I mean? Like it's weird how like kind of with DaBaby too, man. Like you just sometimes are the guy, sometimes you're not the guy. You can't really predict when or where it happens. Like because even with the Bad Boys movie, that was a off the charts hit, and I think it
Hmm.
was the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like
big.
people thought that he was gonna fold after that, but then it's like nah, he came out with one of the few super strong movies of the year at the box office. So it's like, did it really hurt him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But it was a smart move though, because that's a movie that it was a safe move. It was a safe bet. You know what I mean? Rather than him going and doing a whole new concept, there's a fans of the Bad Boy
I
series
mean, I
that
think that was already in the works anyway, like regardless of the slap or not, like that was gonna happen at that time.
I don't know
Yeah, but
because
he
I
he
remember
might
they
some.
released. I remember when they announced it. It was after the slap.
Yeah.
When they announced that they were in production, it was after the slap.
Yeah, they were still filming in Miami. Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say there might be some stuff in the cut that he's holding back till it all really boils over because he's not rolling anything out during that. But another thing, how many people are in love with Chris Rock still to this day? What's Chris Rock doing that? He got something, but at that point, what did he have?
I actually, my father-in-law went to see Chris Rock a few years ago at the Dr. Phillips Center here in Orlando,
Yeah.
and he ain't like it. Chris Rock was coming off of his divorce, and I think Chris Rock even said it in an interview after, like that he was just like in a bad space at that time. So it came across in the act, you know what I'm saying? And my father-in-law is a huge Chris Rock fan. He loves all his stand-ups, all everything that he's done basically. But when he went to see him, he was just disappointed because of like the energy and the what he brought to the table.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, man,
different.
yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like obviously, in the wake of all this P Diddy stuff going down, and the rumors that a whole bunch of people are kind of like laying low, seeing where the chips are gonna, where everything's gonna fall. It kind of just makes you think about the whole idea of Hollywood and entertainment, where it's just like you're really just a slave to your perception. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like your whole existence basically trying to craft it the way that you would like it to be, but at the end of the day, you can't control anything. Like the same way you can't make something go viral, the same way you can't make somebody a star. You know what I'm saying? There's so many stories of artists that had 500,000, $1 million spent on them doing everything, getting them the best feature. The same thing we talked about with DaBaby. Like people think, oh, if I had that situation, I would do the same thing. Not necessarily, bro, because it's happened for plenty of people that they gave them the same kind of setup, they gave them the same everything, and they just weren't able to do it because they just didn't have that thing that made people say, yo, I rock with this person,
Hmm.
Agreed.
and it's kind of crazy, man, because just the way that I don't know, man. I don't think I could like somebody like a Will Smith where he how much he eats is determined by how much people rock with him at the time. You know what I mean? Obviously, at this point, he ain't lacking for food, or he ain't in need of anything. But at the same time, bro, it must not be cool to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? To just have to be kind of on your toes and be like, all right, I gotta do this kind of way every single time because the way I make money depends on it.
Right.
What do y'all think about that?
I mean, I've always said that if I was ever to become successful via music, I wouldn't want to be on that platform because I already know that that's what comes with it. I'd rather be on the platform of somebody like Currency, who's very under the radar, and he has his audience and he makes his money doing what he loves to do. I
Yeah.
don't. I would prefer that than being super super popular and being a slave to what people think of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And before Joe jumps in, I was just going to mention about Currency. He has a quote along the lines of, he's successful and famous enough that he can buy whatever he wants, but he could also still go to the grocery store and pick something up and
Yeah.
nobody bother him.
Exactly.
But yeah, what do you think about that, Joe?
No,
Just like that
I
correlation.
agree, man. There's a certain level that I would never want to reach, because once you reach that level, people are gonna expect you to be that person every single time they see you in the street, and that's what majority of celebrities go through now that they hate. Um, it's something that I definitely, whatever, if I was ever in some kind of entertainment field, that I would hold back. It's like, nah, this is gonna make me bigger than I even desire to be.
I mean, I put it in the chat the other day, not really as a joke, but I was just actually genuinely curious on y'all thoughts of it. When I asked, I was like, "Yo, do y'all think like Drake is gonna bounce back from this whole situation?" And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we all know that he is a slave to his perception. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But do
And
you
so,
think? And that's why I remember I saw that, but I was tied up. Do you think he's in a place where he needs to bounce back?
um,
He's dropped like 6 7 singles since the beef.
the crazy part is that coming in, and I'm glad you asked that because from my perspective, he's not. But from his perspective, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you love the popularity and your image is tarnished, how do you respond? You know what I mean?
But tarnished to the people, I think it's tarnished to people who never really big fans of him.
But that's what I'm saying. Me and you, we may not care about that. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Somebody like Drake might actually. I'm just on the outside looking
Yeah.
in. You know what I mean?
I see where
But
both of y'all are coming from, but I feel
yeah.
like Drake himself hasn't even tested the waters to see where he stands. You feel what I'm saying?
And
Like,
that's what I mean.
yeah,
I
he
think
hasn't popped out to the degree that he popped out before, like doing different things. He hasn't really been in the mix. Kind of like you were saying with Will Smith. Like, maybe he's being strategic right now, the same way we talk about with Will Smith. Let me not do too many things at the same time.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Let me wait this out. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just kind of waiting for the dust to settle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think the people who still not listen to him and still talk shit that he lost are the people who just never really listened to him before. I
I
think it's the
mean,
same crowd.
I
I
don't know because
definitely
I
feel like
talk
it
hella
took
shit, but
away
I still
some of.
listen. I still
Yeah.
listen.
And
Yeah,
there's people who I know never liked him that are still talking about the beef to this day.
yeah.
And they're still
I, I
posting about it.
I do feel like as far as pop culture goes and people that like maybe were Drake fans, but just on a superficial level, like as far as like just when they hear him on the radio, they like his joints. I definitely feel like Drake lost that cool factor to like the popular crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna feel like Kendrick is cooler right now, like just from what I see, like even like with
Yeah.
my
The
kids
popular
and
crowd.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like my kids kind of look at Drake like, like a punchline right now. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? They would never have felt like that about Drake before, you know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
now he's kind of like the butt of the joke for a lot of like, kids. Like I said, bro, like the kids in middle school, high school, just because I hear it from my kids, like they're clowning him, you know what I'm saying? So he
Yeah.
definitely lost some of that coolness, you know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. Did he ever have that coolness with them?
I
I
think
definitely
so.
feel like he did.
Yeah, I definitely think he had it.
Drake was definitely, and he still is to a big crowd, but he definitely was somebody that people kind of like looked up to and stuff like that. Like I definitely see it a lot, especially like I said, with my kids and just seeing how they interact with it and everything. Like even like fashion wise, like Drake was kind of like what people dress like that Nike Tech thing and everything, like all the kids wearing the Nike Tech and being on that Nike stuff and not really being on the Adidas too much. That came from Drake, you know what I mean? Like when Drake started going at Adidas because of the whole Kanye thing, like the kids drew a line too, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not like us that they'll buy some Jordans and some Yeezys, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like how we was when we was younger, where we was mad mature. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to Jay-Z because I like Nas, or vice versa, you know what I mean? Like that was the same way we thought. That's how they think too, you know what I'm saying? They was on that Nike tip because of Drake, you know what I mean? I don't think right now, you know, they're emulating Drake like they were at that time, you know.
I think that's perception of because of the crowd, you know. And one thing I looked up, and I just got this number back again. He dropped 3 songs on that 100 Gigs website, right? 3 unreleased songs, and he had it up there for at least over a month. And then UMG forced him to take it down. After everybody heard it, ran to that site because that site got flooded. Then it went on Spotify, and he already has over 14.3 million listens on those 3 songs. So where is it dying down?
But
the crowd that matters to him, for the crowd that matters to him, his fan base that he originally had, they listened to it for free for a month and a half, and they went on Spotify. They listened to it even more, and they saw exactly how many people were listening to it. And then he dropped 3 more.
But the numbers ain't do what they used to do for sure. So the new singles, even the stuff that he featured on, didn't do what it usually does. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about the cool factor thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not hitting his pockets. Maybe it's not hitting him like on a real day-to-day. But when it comes to that image, and that's what you use to sell these brand deals. That's what you use to sell out these things. You know what I'm saying? Like that front-facing look of like, oh, okay, if this guy's involved, it's going to do X, Y, and Z. He hasn't really tested the waters to see like what kind of level he's on, just as far as like the fair weather fans go. Because it's kind of like you said, the people that listen to Drake, they always going to be there. Even if they felt like he lost the battle, they're still going to say he's still a better artist than Kendrick, because they make such opposite music that Kendrick beating him in a rap battle is not going to make any difference for somebody that likes Drake, because they're not going to get that sound from Kendrick. It's not like Kendrick beat him and say, okay, now follow me. It's like Kendrick beat him and he kept doing his thing. So if you're a fan of Kendrick, you're going to be a fan of Kendrick. If you're a fan of Drake, you're going to be a fan of Drake. It didn't really affect that. But as far as like those fair weather fans, the person that's just going to randomly walk by, see something and say, oh, you know, let me get a ticket for this to see a poster. You know what I'm saying? The people that aren't tapped in and just know what they see from like how people talk about stuff, that's where we really got to see if that's affected. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to see if he really performs at the World Cup in Toronto next year.
That would be interesting.
I wouldn't see why not. He's been linking with the FIFA president for weeks. They linked like 2 days ago. And Toronto is hosting one of the World Cup games.
Is it official or it's like a rumor right now? Because the way I heard about it, because the way I heard about it seemed like it's already like a done deal. You know what I mean?
Why are they seeing each other? They're, like this rumor started months ago, and they were just with each other this weekend.
So in your eyes, do you feel like that is a quote unquote checkmate kind of move with the Super Bowl thing and just kind of like in the battle?
I do think, like you said, if he's really looking for the fair weather, it's a pop culture, all that shit, he has to do something way bigger than the Super Bowl now. There's not a good album, a good song, and a good brand deal. It has to be something way bigger than the Super Bowl now. Because that just took everything he says big as a Super Bowl out of context. Now you're not as big as a Super Bowl anymore, so you got to be bigger. So I think if he really cares about that, he's going to have to go for something like the World Cup.
Yeah, and it's funny because that kind of goes back to the perception thing. Kendrick doing the Super Bowl. We in America, American football, big, strong, rah, rah, rah. Drake is in Canada performing.
But he's Canadian.
Okay, but
it makes sense.
I'm talking about here. Drake is in Canada performing for a soccer stadium, for a soccer crowd, for a soccer game. On the large scale, the worldwide scale, and business-wise, it's probably not probably. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
Drake doing the World Cup is infinitely more important than Kendrick doing the Super Bowl.
Facts.
From a worldwide
Worldwide.
angle, revenue, everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's
Impact.
not guaranteed that Canada is even going to be playing that day. It's whatever two teams end up playing that day. There is the fans that are going to be there.
Yeah. So considering that, still, when you talk about the fair weather fans, the randoms, the people that only listen to the radio here and there, there's a real chance that people are going to be like, bro, this guy got beat so bad that now he's in Canada performing for soccer people. You know what I'm saying? Because people out here don't respect soccer. You know what I'm saying? People out here look at soccer like it's a funny sport. Nobody really watches it. Nobody really pays attention. And then when you think about,
I don't know if that's true.
I was gonna say
I don't know if that's true.
I get what you're saying, but no, I don't think that's the case.
The World Cup is watched.
Football is probably number one, but people do love soccer.
I don't know anybody that likes soccer.
No,
that's just you don't.
Yeah, no, the Major League Soccer League is legit, bro. People are for real about it.
I don't know, man. I just
Orlando alone. They had a D League fan base, Orlando Pirates. The Orlando Pirates switched over to being the Orlando City Lions. I had season tickets the inaugural season. It's the same fan base. It's like the Raiders Black Hole. These dudes are serious. They're there every single time. Face painted, bodies painted, bands playing. Mm-hmm. They got their own songs, and that's just Orlando. And Orlando's trash. Messi's playing in Miami. Like they have retired international stars coming to play in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna push back against that on both of y'all because if y'all are saying that soccer is as big as y'all are saying, it would have come across my timeline. It would have permeated what I'm into because I follow sports so much, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching.
You don't follow hockey.
I don't follow hockey, but I know a little bit about hockey.
Prominent.
Hockey's across. They talk about it on Sports Center. They talk about it on these podcasts and stuff. I don't hear nobody talking about soccer, bro. Not a person, dog. I haven't heard them mention soccer on First Take. None of these shows, bro, they not talking about soccer, dog. Nobody's talking about no soccer, bro.
Okay,
I understand what y'all saying.
All right,
like just as far as international goes, but soccer is now in the U.S. It's not on the level of football, bro.
No, that's definitely. I won't argue that.
It's in the U.S. this year.
Yeah, but I won't argue that NFL is bigger than MLS. I won't argue that at all. But what I will say is that if you look at, you mentioned the NHL. The NHL, it was established in 1917 and it's worth like $42 billion. Major League or MLS was established in 1996 and worth $20 billion. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's nationwide. That's not worldwide. You get what I'm saying? So if you look at the growth and the worth, bro, people are following soccer, bro.
Yeah. Look, in top 15 most viewed sporting events, World Cup, number one, over 5 million viewers. Over the Tour de France, over the Olympics, both summer winner. Super Bowl sits at 115 million. Super Bowl's right under there, 17 million.
Numbers.
Yeah. The World Cup, that's worldwide though.
Check the U.S. numbers for soccer, period, bro. Soccer, bro, I'm telling you, I understand that it has a big appeal, and I understand that a lot of people like it. But I put it in the same category as baseball, bro. Like it's on the bottom, dog. Like that's like a niche sport. A random person is not saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go to a soccer game." You know what I'm saying? Like there was definitely a vibe of that when like the MLS thing started to first take off. When like that first thing started of like how you said, Joe, like the retired players coming to play. That's how I even know that Messi's there. Is because I kind of peeped it's not anything, you got to be smart to peep. But when they were trying to get the MLS to get to that next level, that's what they started doing. They started telling these players, bro, y'all can stay over there and make, a little bit of money because they're not going to pay you the same amount of money when you at that age, or y'all could come over here and make the same, if not more right now, just kind of playing around, just like in a JV league type thing. When you somebody like Messi, that Zlatan guy, whatever his name is. What was the other one that came out here? There was a Ronaldo, right? Didn't Ronaldinho or one of them played for one of the MLS teams? Oh no, David Beckham. There it goes. Beckham
He
came
owns
out here.
Miami.
Yeah, but he was like I think the first one that came and played, and I think it was like a player owner type thing.
Orlando had Kaká play. He was from Brazil.
There
He
you
was
go.
a major player from Brazil.
Yeah, so like once all these guys started coming over and legitimizing the league, it's definitely been on the rise, and it's definitely something that, like I said, it makes money internationally. The NFL can't touch soccer, like for sure, when it comes to just a worldwide thing, the money that it brings in, just the idea of soccer, bro. You don't need any, like, soccer is such a great appeal across the globe because all you need is a soccer ball. Nobody needs anything else. You need space and a ball, and that's it. All these other sports, you need a lot of stuff. You know, you need travel, X, Y, and Z, whatever equipment. Soccer, you could do it anywhere. So it's just such an easy thing to pick up, and that's why internationally it's so huge. But over here, they're not checking for soccer like that, bro.
We're gonna have to put this video out and make a poll or something.
I mean,
yo, TikTok, back me up.
Y'all give me some soccer updates then. We've never talked about soccer on this podcast.
But the World Cup is every 4 years. You have to depend on the world.
But y'all just told me that
we're talking about MLS.
Y'all just told me that the MLS is dope. So who cares about the World Cup?
No, I'm talking about soccer. It doesn't have to be. If you're just talking about pure American League soccer, then no. If you're talking about Americans who like soccer, yes. There's two different things.
So you're saying that the energy for soccer is there in the United States when the World Cup season is going.
Oh no, and throughout the World Cup, like everybody's watching the Champions League, Premier League, all the internationals that where Mbappe is playing, where Ronaldo's playing for the Saudis now, but for Neymar is still playing. Like everybody's still watching that. Everybody's big. I know mad people with those jerseys, Juventus, PSG, Real Madrid. Those are big teams in the United States for a lot of fans. Not MLS. If you're talking about MLS, then I 100% agree. That's butt syrup.
No, I'm just really saying just American interest in soccer, period.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No,
that's what I thought you were saying. The Americans ain't in the soccer.
I only use MLS
I'm still saying that they're not in the soccer, bro. It's a very small pocket. We definitely gonna have to hear from the people because bro, I'm telling you, we've never talked about it. Y'all can't even tell me right now any like recent highlight or like even if the season is going or anything. Like,
yeah, well, when I was World Cup qualifiers, next week starts the qualifying games again. Peru plays Bolivia on the 11th, and they play Brazil on the 14th. When they play the World Cup qualifiers, they cannot play for any other team. They're solely reserved for their national team. I keep up with this all the time. We never talk about it because y'all don't watch soccer, but all of my people who do watch soccer, we talk about this. We have a chat for it. Well, we got Metro. Shout out to Metro and Danny who are putting soccer bets in there weekly.
Oh yeah.
Weekly.
Who you know in them chats or whatever that's not like South American or something?
They're all Spanish. Only
that's what I'm saying, bro.
I tell you right now, bro. I personally don't follow soccer like that. But when I'm playing soccer and I'm around that crowd, everybody talks it. You get what I'm saying? We don't talk it because it's not our thing. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the same thing I'm saying. Y'all are trying to say that that people around me don't play soccer, so I'm just not seeing it. What I'm saying is y'all are around a couple people, so y'all feel like a lot of people talk about soccer. But when you go up to 10 people, bro, I'm telling you, it has to be maybe one out of those 10 that knows what Joe just did right now. Like the stuff he explained, you go to 10 people, none of them are going to know what he's talking about. Maybe like one of them out of 10.
You gotta select a variety 10.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you can select 10 people that know nothing about NFL. It just depends on who you selected.
Yeah.
No, I just think I'm telling you, bro. And if we had, bro, if I would have known we were gonna talk about this, I would have had the numbers with me.
Me too.
Yo, facts.
Soccer is not doing no type of damage in the United States. It might be on an upward trend, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look this up and I'm gonna bring it back for next week, dog. Because I'm about to slaughter y'all on this soccer shit. Because nobody's checking for no soccer, bro. I'm tripling down, dog. Soccer is probably behind baseball in the United States as far as sports goes, dog. And that's saying a lot because baseball is trash, bro.
But when the US plays in those World Cup qualifiers, they sell out every single game in the US that they play at.
No, and I don't.
And there's a
disagree
bunch of
with
white
that.
people. There's a bunch of
Nah,
white Americans.
I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is it's still on a very low level.
That's 10 of those people in that stadium.
Because it's even like you said, minor bro. There's minor league hockey teams here that be having full houses. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it's a live event or something. Somebody going to an event is a lot different than them actually like keeping up and watching stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know mad people that'll go to a WWE event just because it's in town and they ain't watched it since Stone Cold was on. You know what I mean? They don't know none of the wrestlers. They don't know nothing. They just enjoy seeing people do front flips off the top rope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so what's your gauge on nobody? Like you're saying no, like what's your number as far as like percentage of people that watch soccer? What do you say?
I'm saying if like if you talk to a random group of 10 people 1,000 times and you break down the percentage at the end of people that not just say that they like soccer, I'm saying people that have any kind of current event news, stats, they have an understanding of who's on what roster, like just basic knowledge of the sport of soccer and actually watch it. I would say 10% of people would fall into that category.
You know who good people to ask? People who are big fans of the NFL.
What
ask
do you mean?
them if they know anything about soccer.
If they know anything about soccer, yeah, that would be good to know. Like how many people that like the NFL also like soccer.
Yep. Or just what they know about soccer. You could like it. You say, yeah, it's cool. Like, because I watched the World Cup and all this stuff. But no, how much do you know about soccer? Can you name any teams in the U.S.? Can you name any players in the U.S.? Like, I think that will properly gauge it.
Yo, and that I was thinking about earlier, I almost lost it. But, bro, they got to be laundering money in soccer, dog.
Oh, it's corrupt as fuck. Peru, that's why we hate Peru. It's corrupt as fuck.
In holy
FIFA's corrupt
hell.
as fuck.
Yeah, bruh. Yo, matter of fact, now that you bring up FIFA, the only time I hear people talking about soccer like in a deep way is when they're talking about something that FIFA did that was real shady or something that, that I've definitely heard that, bruh. But it's like, dog, there's no way they really got this kind of like, there's no way soccer's bringing that much money where they can give one player 500 mil, $1 billion. You know, they give Ronald. I mean, bro, Cristiano Ronaldo got $1 billion from the Saudis.
But that's just they don't make that kind of money. LeBron, right now, NFL players make more than like the Italy or European players, not the Saudis. The Saudis got oil money.
Yeah, facts. The Saudis is a whole different ball game. But even like other players, bro, that them soccer contracts been crazy for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because there we go. That's another time that I hear about soccer too. Just when a player gets paid and it's always a crazy number, and it's like, bro, how are you going to a poor country with a guy that's making $300 million? And that's just one guy. That's not even including the whole operation. It doesn't include the team. It doesn't include the fact that they have to upkeep these stadiums. Like, that don't include nothing. That's just the one guy. Like, how are y'all, like, when you factor it all in, like, is soccer really making that much money?
It is. Because their stadiums are even like 10 times bigger than the NFL stadiums.
Yeah, their stadiums are huge.
They hold 3 times the people that they
bro. They're huge stadiums, but you talking about like they're going to a lot of like poor places. Like how much can you honestly sell the tickets for? I mean, I guess when you have 100,000 seats, you could sell them for $5 a pop.
When they pick where the World Cup is held, it has to industrially and financially be stable enough.
It has to support. The infrastructure has to support them being able to like actually
make money.
Logistically handle all the people and everything,
and make money.
Yeah, and make money. Facts.
Damn, yo, I just saw crazy. I didn't realize that Cristiano Ronaldo has 640 million followers on Instagram.
Bro.
Taylor Swift has 283. That's insane.
Most. That's 10 of those followers what they know about soccer.
Bruh, and then you look at somebody, he asking if somebody that follows soccer, if they know about soccer.
But
great point, pal. McMahon like.
Think fast.
But yeah, bruh, and I think about it too, like with the money thing, bruh, like baseball is the same thing too. They spend so much money on like so many different levels in baseball. Baseball fans, like when it comes to like cards go, you know how people be buying basketball cards, soccer cards, baseball cards, like that's has like a booming market right now, like in the last few years. When it comes to cards, bro, the baseball market is really where it's at, and that's where people are spending crazy amounts of bread on these baseball cards that even make it's like, bro, there's so much money in the sport. The fans have so much money because they're spending this kind of money on these cards. Like, where is the money coming from? There's no way baseball is making that much money with how much it's declined, bro.
I don't know. I'm not a baseball fan, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah. No, I think that was a good random topic. I'm glad you said that. Now we got to go improve it. We got to see what the masses say.
Yeah, man. I'm very confident in that one, bro. Ain't nobody checking for no soccer. The people that like soccer are gonna come at me, and I got a few in my head. Hey, yo, that I already.
I'm gonna put it as soon as we get off. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yo, Metro, Danny, do you know what Lester said today? No, actually, make the clip. Make the clip, and then we're gonna send it.
About soccer, bro. Come on.
But see, they don't keep up with just Colombia. They keep up with everything. Everything soccer.
Nah, but what I'm saying is, like, they do because that's like where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people out here, bro. If you're not growing up where people are checking for soccer, you're not checking for soccer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The dude Rhino on the softball team, but I mean, he just bets on it, so I don't know how much he actually watches it. That's not for betting.
So I found this stat on this website called StatScore.com. And obviously we know NFL is American favorite sport, with baseball second, basketball third, ice hockey fourth, and soccer at fifth. With the TV viewing record for NFL is 111 or 112 million.
That was last year's, right?
And then the TV viewing record for soccer at 27.3 million.
It's a decent number, 27.
But still, those are the 5 major sports ever.
Does it tell you when that number is from?
Let me see here. It says,
like, to be number 5 out of the 5 major sports, we ain't talking about cricket. We ain't talking about polo. We ain't talking about swimming. You know what I'm saying? Those are the top 5 major sports, really, in any institution.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
They barely made it, pal.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to use that. But I think if MLS had like a LeBron James, I think that would change it. But they have not had one that's American, that was from here, that started here and developed one of the greatest careers ever. Like it's always been someone who came internationally.
You would have to train people here to even care about the sport. You know what I mean? It's so different than American sports are. Like, you got to think, like, all of our leagues have been like crafted and tailored every year to further feed the American audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the rules and everything, they're made because we have certain viewing habits, and these are the sports we like because of the way that they are. For somebody that enjoys the action of the NBA or the NFL, to tell them to go to a game that's going to be 90 minutes and you might see one person score, you might not see anybody score, bro. That's a hard sell, dog. That's a very hard
sell. The games aren't that bad.
I mean, but it happens. It's happened that the game has ended 0-0, 1-0, 1-1. Like, let's say best case scenario, the game ends, I mean, not best case scenario, but let's say it ended 5-4. Best case scenario,
it goes. But that's the thing. A lot of times that goes in a penalty, and that's the greatest thing in soccer, penalty kickoffs.
Oh, yeah, the penalty kicks are dope, definitely. But, I mean, I don't know, bro. I feel like and to kind of wrap it up, I'm definitely going to come off like I hate soccer or something. It's not. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, you are.
I just don't think that soccer in here, like in the United States, is nowhere near the level of like the other major sports, which is basically what you just figured out, Quincy. Like, it's under ice hockey, bro. And ice hockey, I would have said ice hockey was worse than soccer. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that it's higher, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be like right under baseball, but nah, it's going up though. It's going up.
It's the unmitigated gall for me.
I respect soccer players. It's the same way I respect baseball players, dog. Like, I know it ain't an easy sport or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not for me, my guy. not trying to watch that.
I'll tell you one thing. When I do see people like at MLS games and stuff like that, I'm always surprised. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have a niche audience. Like you either like it or you don't.
You know who
You know
went to
what
the game this season? Me.
Yeah, bro, I got a couple people I know that I've seen. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they like soccer. But they're
Nah, don't want to say y'all don't know nobody who follows soccer or goes to soccer games, because I definitely went to Atlanta City game this year. They got scored on in the first play. They got scored on.
I know a few people that go to a lot of the Orlando City games.
I'm trying to go to one of the Atlanta ones, bro.
When the season's open, is it open right now? Oh no, you said they're doing the World Cup. So
whenever it's the World Cup, everybody pulls out. Pause.
Hey yo. But yeah, man. It's time to wind it down. It's been
it's time for the Mets.
Oh yeah, bruh. Mets are in the playoffs. They had a crazy little run that it's always wild when you getting into the playoffs has to do with like you have to play well, things have to go wrong for other teams. Like it's like so like all mixed in. But once you get there, bruh, you're there. They won their first game, right?
Yeah, that last night. But I would tell you, remember one time you asked about the Mets and I said it's always the same thing. It's always we have to fight to the very last game, and it's always the Braves or the Phillies, and they always knock us out. Yesterday, whoever won that first game between the Braves and us goes to the playoffs. Who doesn't? Second inning, Braves are up 2-0. And I was like, here we go. Here's the end of our season, like always. And then they came back, tied it up, and ended up winning 8-4. And that was I have not seen the Mets do that in a lot of years. So now I'm like, all right.
That's a great
now
sign.
We watching.
When once you kind of get over that playoff hump, especially for like younger players, man, it's a big deal. I feel like that's what's happening with us in softball right now. Where like even though it hasn't been a lot of games, we keep getting canceled and stuff, but we just have that experience. You know, we've got that season together. We kind of already got all the little, you know, especially for me that I don't know the game, you know, learning the little things, you know, the tips and everything like that. Then you get to a point where you can actually, you know, have success. And I feel like maybe that's where the Mets are right now. Like the team that they put together is finally finding a way to really string together some wins, which is dope.
Love that for us.
Brother, the Spurs season, you know, the NBA about to start. Spurs got Chris Paul. I didn't like it at first. Still don't really like it.
Wemby.
But I do like it from the point of view of he's gonna feed it to Wemby, man. Wemby's gonna go crazy this year. He gained like 25 pounds.
Nice.
So put a little meat on him, yo, and he ready to go. It's gonna be exciting, man. Y'all seen what I posted about Kawhi the other day about Paul George, man. We'll get into the sports thing next week. I feel like it's a good time right now.
In a couple of weeks.
We're in that good vortex where everything's gonna be going on at once. So we definitely got to get a good sports episode in.
Yeah, it's all 5 major sports.
Yes, sir.
Including
soccer. Even the lonely fifth. But yeah, man, y'all got anything else?
I'm talking about in the world, Craig. In the world.
and that's the funny thing too, bro, about soccer. In the world, they the big bully, dog. They the big dog. Like it's not even close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah. Good talk, though. Ready to get these Mets in, and we'll catch y'all boys next week.
Yes, sir.
Man, hey, you already know, breast cancer awareness month, man. I gotta shed light on that every time I can. So
doing a 5K for wifey's cousin.
Yeah, same. I'm doing it this month too.
Well, we definitely got to tap into that. But yeah, man, stay butter.
Yep.